Greetings. I am Dr. Jaquelin McMillan. I'm an assistant professor in social work at Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University. I'm also a clinical social worker in the state of Florida. And it is my pleasure to take part in this Flourish to Nourish self-care series sponsored by the College of Social Work at Florida State University. As a professor and clinical social worker, I recognize the need for self-care. I believe that it's not optional. I truly believe that it is imperative that we utilize these tips, these suggestions, these ideas that we have in order to maintain homeostasis in our lives. And we know that homeostasis is about balance, balancing those things in our lives, balancing our family, with our work, with other concerns that we have for ourselves and for those around us. One of the things that I know is that the profession of social work has constantly been lauded as a profession of caring. But often the benefits to those we serve is outweighed by the burnout that we feel. So it's true for our minds, bodies, and our spirit, but environmental self-care is a part of that as well. So the slide presentation that I'm about to present to you will highlight some thoughts that I would like to share with you about environmental self-care. Environmental self-care is not only a part of the 8 dimensions of wellness. As you can see, it talks about occupying pleasant, stimulating environments that support well-being, but it's also a part of the social work wheel of self-care. And this is important for us to recognize that environmental self-care is a part of an entire series of ideologies that will help us to move towards that homeostasis that was talked about previously. One of the things I wanted to share, in order to give credit where credit is due, is that the origin of environmental aspects of social work started with the seminal work in 1917 with Social Diagnosis by Mary Richmond. Mary Richmond postulated that persons are truly influenced by biology. We are influenced by those things that we experience in our lives and those things that we have been given to us by our genetic makeup. But the influence of environment could not be ignored even during that time and still cannot be ignored today. And so when we look at the person in their environment, we look at goods and services systems, educational systems, family systems, social service, political, employment, and religious systems that also all impact the life of the persons in their environment. So when we look at our environment, what is it in our environment that we need to get rid of? And what is it that we need to incorporate within our environments in order for us to be well, in order for us to have that wellness, that well-being? So environmental self-care requires an acronym that I have created, which is DETOX. Environmental self-care requires us to detox. So how do we detox? Well, would you drink this? Is this something that you would drink from a fountain that is filled with toxic waste? Would you move to this place? How about having a home near this power plant where it is infusing the air with all kinds of pollution? And what about toxic relationships? Do you have toxic relationships in your life that you need to rid yourself of, or you need to actually go through some things in order to find that balance in your relationships as well? What about toxicity on the job? Some of you might be saying, oh, yes, that is something that is challenging for me. And it's something that we have to deal with on a daily basis, is removing the toxicities from our life, removing them from our relationships, removing toxic things even from our workplace. And so one of the things that I wanted to share with you is an acronym having to do with detoxing for environmental self-care. And so these words for detox that spell out detox are day, embrace, time out, open, and examine. So the first one has to do with day. Every day should be a gift, and we should treat every day as a gift. Remember the last time you actually had a present that was wrapped with a bow and ribbon all in one beautiful package? And remember how some of you may have taken your time, because you love saving your ribbons and your bows. You may have taken your time to peel away the packaging in order to reveal what was inside. I'm a ripper. I'll rip it apart and find out what goodies there are inside for me. This is what each day should be like for us. And that helps us to detox, is that if we start our day not saying, oh no, I dread another manic Monday, or I dread having to get up and meet with these deadlines that I have. But instead, think about the day as something that's a package that we can unfold and say, what goodies can we find in this day? Another thing I wanted to share with you, if you can see to the right of your slide, there's a livehappy.com. March 20th is International Day of Happiness. And this is something that has begun as a result of us all having to be consumed in our homes and inundated with all of these things that we have to do at home now, and being sheltered in our homes and quarantined because of the pandemic. But we should also try not only on March 20th to live happy, but find in every day something that we can find joy in, find happiness in. Every day is a gift. Beyond that, we should be embracing positivity. It says here on this slide, a negative mind will never give you a positive life. And so we must begin to embrace positivity and eliminate negativity from our lives, from our minds, from our bodies, and from our spirits. And this is one of my favorite slides on this series of slides. And that is that even adults need a timeout chair. Even adults need to take a timeout. And that's a part of detoxing, is to take a time out. If you see the middle slide has someone who is doing meditation as they sit, and whether this is a true, real experience that they're having in this amazing view, or for something that you can just get on your computer, you can just get on your television set. Enjoy some time out for yourselves. That's something that we need to do. And I wanted to emphasize this and take a pause here to look at this idea of taking a time out as a part of environmental self-care. Check out your environment, look around you, find out how can I find time, even 5 minutes, 10 minutes a day, to take a time out for myself. And I wanted to share with you some of my time out places. These are pictures from my iPhone that I took of a place called St. Mark's. It's a St. Mark's trail in the Tallahassee area. And I live very near this trail. And so it's easy for me to go out on any day and just take a walk and just enjoy nature, enjoy the smells, the sounds. One of the things that is a goal of mine is to find every woodpecker that I can find. And so it's amazing that we have woodpeckers and you hear them pecking away, looking for their lunch, sometimes when I'm taking a walk. And this particular scene is one that I took a picture of right after a day of rain. There was an entire day of rain. I could not go out on the trail. But then the next day, this is beautiful scenery that met me on this beautiful day. What a gift it was to go out on that day. It was one of my adult timeout spots. Oh, another one of my adult timeout spots is Destin, Florida. And any beach would do. Of course, this is in the Gulf. But of course, we have the Atlantic Ocean that's not too far away. We also have, if you want to do a bit of traveling, you can also try some of the other lakes and rivers and oceans that we have all over this nation to enjoy an adult timeout spot. But beyond timeout, we have to be open to change. Now we often talk about, and I hear it in the news, I hear it in the broadcast, I hear it amongst my friends, the new normal. And that's something that we talk about all the time now that we are in the pandemic, is this new normal. But be open to change. Socrates said the secret of change is to focus all of your energy not on fighting the old, but on building the new. What new things can you do in terms of environmental self-care? What new things can you create in environmental self-care in order to take care of yourself and make sure that your surroundings are a place of solace, a place of contentment for you? So open yourself up to change, and that will help you to detox for environmental self-care. And finally, we have to examine ourselves. What are we putting into our bodies? What are we infusing within our minds? What are we doing in our environments that is causing us to have toxicity in our lives? I put on here an example of one of the desks, and I'm praying that my desk never looks this challenging, but this is a challenge. I know that this person who has this particular desk probably knows where everything is, but wouldn't it be so much more helpful to have everything boxed or filed away? And so you can just pull those files out and maybe even have room on your desk for your coffee cup. And so examine yourself and your environment to see where you might need to detox in order to have that environmental self-care. Nothing will make us so charitable and tender to the faults of others as by self-examination thoroughly to know our own. One of the things about self-examination that is so beneficial for us and helps us to detox is that we're not focused on anyone else. We're not focused on the things that are wrong with other people. We're focused on what is challenging for us and how we can help ourselves be better. And so detoxing for self-environment and for environmental self-care is really helpful for us as a whole. And I wanted to share finally with you something that is not a part of the acronym detox, but it is something that I've truly have learned from and I've learned about, and that is positive energy. Positive energy for environmental self-care is so important for all of us. And there's a book that I happened upon, and it has been something that I really cherish and I've shared with others. And the book is called The Energy Bus by John Gordon. And The Energy Bus talks about 10 rules to fuel your life, your work, and your team with positive energy. And if you look through the 10 rules, and I'll read them really quickly, is that you're the driver of your bus. And I must say, you are in charge of your environmental self-care. Desire, vision, and focus move your bus in the right direction. So when you have desire, when you have vision, when you have a focus, those things are going to move you forward and help you to detox from your life. Fuel your ride with positive energy. This is one of the key components to the 10 rules for the ride of your life, is to fuel your ride with positive energy every single day. Remember that these days are a gift, and that will help you to fuel each day with that positive energy that you need. Invite other people who want that positive energy onto your bus as well. But don't waste your energy on people who don't want to get on your bus. There are people who don't want to move in the direction that you do in terms of environmental self-care. And those people, they may have their own journey, they may have their own rules, they may have their own desires. And so you allow them to go their own separate way. But you continue to give an open invitation to ride on that bus with you. Post a sign that says, "No energy vampires allowed on your bus." Enthusiasm attracts more passengers and energizes them during the ride. This is what I call contagion. There's negative contagion towards those negative things, those toxic things. But when you have positive energy, that's also contagious. So become contagious, not with the coronavirus, but become contagious with positive energy. Love your passengers, drive with purpose, have fun, and enjoy the ride. So detoxing for environmental self-care. Remember to treat every day as a gift, to embrace positivity and eliminate negativity, to take time out to recharge and rejuvenate, to open yourself up to change for the better, and to examine your environment frequently for toxicity, to make sure that we are detoxing for environmental self-care. If you do these things, then I know that the whole idea of this is for us to flourish in order to nourish. You all, this has been a plum-pleasing pleasure, and I look forward to more opportunities to share with you about self-care and doing those things that are best for us.